Halloween, MFL. It's week 7. It's time for the power rankings. The environment we're in, it's a little different. It's a little kind of creepy out here, but
here, kitty, kitty, kitty.
Yeah, but it's a little creepy. But it's all good. It's it's part of the deal.
Kitty, kitty, kitty.
So, Batman?
Have you seen a kitty cat?
No. What does it look like?
Oh, long hair.
Like Catwoman?
Yeah.
Nope. Haven't seen her.
Okay.
Good luck, buddy. All right, let's get into the power rankings.
What does it take to be number 1? 2 is not a winner, and 3 nobody remembers. What does it take to be number 1?
At number 12, SB scores at will. Once again, the roster's just too thin. It doesn't have enough power to take himself into the hunt. I believe that he can compete on a given week with some of the guys he's got. Might get some high point spikes. In fact, this week I wouldn't be surprised if he upset King Fantasy. But when it comes to the long-term prognosis, it's not good. But I do give him credit. He's got the most roster moves in the league. He's trying to work it. He's trying to make it happen. And keep battling. Now, number 11, Idiot's Revenge. The worst breaks I've ever seen. It seems like every year somebody gets the shaft. And this year, highest points against totals, injuries. It just hasn't been good. And I thought that he was going to be able to overcome some of that. And then Arian Foster goes down last week. Brutal thing that happened there. And I just don't think he's got enough to keep going. He's fallen too far behind in wins. I believe he's probably going to lose this week. And that's going to be just another tough break in the Idiot's Revenge season. At number 11, or at number 10, Mile High Star. I believe that just the roster, again, is just not strong enough. He's got the players and he's got the managerial skills to compete on every given week, but I think that just falling behind some of the teams ahead, that's the concern from his perspective that he's got to have that I just don't think he's going to be able to overcome. But you never know. We can't put anything past Mile High Star. At number 9, Spinal Tappers. The only reason why he's ahead of the guys behind him is because he's picked up some more wins, and he's got Aaron Rodgers and Rob Gronkowski. I believe that that's enough to keep him competitive. At the same time, the roster's just too thin. He just traded away Lamar Miller. I think that's a solid running back that you got to have in a league like this, where running backs are so few and far between. Spinal Tappers just hanging on. He's going to compete, but I don't think he's going to make that top level that gets him into the playoffs. And number 8. This is a shocker. It might shock many of you. The league leader in points, getting disrespect from the commish. Unfortunately, I think Effen's roster is just too thin. Losing Jamal Charles was huge. He's had some major point totals that have just spiked his overall points, which has been impressive. The guy's he's a survivor. He's a fighter. I just look at the roster and I see 7 other teams that have a better shot than he does. But he'll keep fighting, that's for sure. And we look at number 7. This is a team that I believe if everything worked out right, he would be in the top 2 or 3 in the league. That's for sure. This is jackpot. The injuries to Romo, Des Bryant, and then not having Gurley for the first few weeks of this season, somehow he's managed to be competitive. But those guys he needs in this middle of the season to produce, and without his quarterback, without his wide receiver, it's challenging. But this is a guy that can definitely do it. So I believe he's gonna crack that playoff. And if he's in the playoffs, that's a team I do not want to face. Number 6, another team that's getting a little bit of disrespect, but it just comes down to just overall talent and roster. The guy is putting up wins, Hall of Famers. I think that he's right there in the mix. And so we'll see how it goes. Blunt's week last week was 0 production. That was troubling because you look at his Ivory, Blunt, McCoy connection. That's a nice trio if there's consistency there. But we'll see. We'll see. When Big Ben comes back, that's a big deal in his world. And I think that if he produces like he did last year, Hall of Famer's just right there. And number 5, JL Showtime. This guy, I have to say that his roster and King Fantasy's roster is built very similarly. The high-end quarterbacks, the Matt Ryan, Andrew Luck, the receiver trio, Alshon Jeffrey, Calvin Johnson, and Julio Jones. King Fantasy's got the Randall Cobb, Odell Beckham Jr., and Stoner Bryant. There's a similarity there. Now, JL Showtime does have a little bit of production at the running back with Hyde and Stewart. That's definitely improved and better than King Fantasy's rookie running back, whatever that is. I think that there's just a couple things that keep King Fantasy out slightly ahead, but those two are two teams to watch because they're probably going to finish very, very close together, whether that's outside the playoffs or inside the playoffs. Watch those two. So number 5, JL Showtime. And at number 4, King Fantasy. I think that the top end of the high production of Andrew Luck, if he's playing well, with solid tight end production and Eifert, even Ebron as a backup, and then you got the wide receiver trio with Cobb, Beckham, and Martavius Bryant. The key with this team for sure is just what is he going to get out of running backs. TJ Yeldon had a great week last week, showed a lot of promise, but on the other hand, Gordon and Abdullah have been absolute busts. So King Fantasy has a lot of depth at running back, a lot of players. He needs some breaks when it comes to playing time, when it comes to production. So that's a close one to watch. At number 3, Team RPM, he slipped a little bit. Nothing because of what he's done. His team is solid. He's got, again, solid wide receivers. You got solid production at quarterback. Eddie Lacy's been one of the biggest busts in fantasy this year. He might turn it around. He often does have a better second half than a first half. So this is just a solid roster from top to bottom. Now, if we look at number 2, Chappie 74s has earned a lot of respect in my book for what he's doing this season. Not, given the fact he's got 2 MFL championships, the guy is just proving once again that his selection on the waiver wire is so impressive. He doesn't have a lot of moves, but the moves he has made have brought him all the production that he's had. He's got Andy Dalton, Chris Johnson, Dion Lewis, all added via waiver wire. He just added Alfred Blue, just another depth, another player at the running back position. He's high on a running back from the Giants. There's just things that he's doing that just shows that this guy has just got a knack for finding players on the waiver wire. So he is just like a JL Showtime, is just a top-notch waiver wire vulture, and it's impressive to watch. And so he is getting production. His running backs are producing. His roster is just rock solid when it comes to balance. Now he's looking to package some players up, maybe move up, trade up, get some key stars in there. And I think the sky's the limit right now for Chappie 74s. And at number 1, BRC is just killing it. There's the BRC deniers out there. There is. And he's killing it. Tom Brady, to give up Latavius Murray and Danny Woodhead and get a production machine like Tom Brady, have an MVP season, this is ridiculous. And so he's got Tom Brady, he's got the best duo of running backs this season with Le'Veon Bell and Devontae Freeman. The guy, and he's got some young wide receivers. He's just got a solid producing lineup, better than any lineup that we have in the league. Now, there are some teams that if certain things work out, they're going to be just as competitive. But right now, BRC is the team to beat. And so that's it. So that's 12 through 1. I would say that the key this season, the key this week, is to watch out for separation. I believe that we've seen a lot of balance throughout the league. There's a lot of teams that look like they're just right around the 500 mark. Some of those 3 and 4 teams, if they lose this week and those 4 and 3 teams or higher get wins, there's going to be some gaps that develop that are going to kind of show the difference between the top tier and the lower tier of the MFL this season. Now, that can be made up in the next few weeks, but at the same time, I think this is the week of separation. So you guys have a great Halloween. Good luck this weekend, and may the best teams win.